good morning, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us on Dawn this beautiful morning. Yes, Dawn is a program, a daily magazine program on VOSTV. Here, we begin your day with clarity, context, and conversation. We review stories that are shaping the world, not just take a look at them, but we discuss them holistically, taking a look at an analysis of these stories. Welcome to Dawn on VOSTV Nigeria. My name is Jude Agweke. Of course, you know, I'm not here in the studio alone. I don't do it alone. I have my beautiful and ever insightful, elegant-looking colleague, Felicia. Complete it.
Oh, Mr. Jude Aweke, thank you so much for the wonderful adjective you use in describing me. What a colleague, I must say. All right, but in City in Nigeria, I'm doing great.
Of course, yes, you are doing good. It's obvious. We don't even need to say it. Obviously, you are doing good.
I am very sure that you out there watching me, you are doing fantabulously well as well this morning. Yes, it's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we are here to give you the insight into trending issues, be it entertainment, be it business. Yes, you actually need to know what is going on in the business world. How is Naira doing against the dollar? You need to know, so that way you know whether to save up in Naira or to save up in dollars. Yes, that is exactly what we do here. And to all those watching us who would like to know where you're watching us from, good morning, everybody. So do well to drop your comments on our comment section. We are on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. I am Felicia Udeji.
All right, thank you for being there with us. Remember, we don't usually start the day we start exposing you to what is happening on the national dailies. So stay tuned as we begin the newspaper review segment of the program. Don't go away. Stay tuned. Thank you, and for being there with us. This is the newspaper review segment of the program. Let's see what's the Vanguard and the Guardian are saying this morning. Let's begin with Guardian. On the Guardian this morning, the first story there says, flights diverted, Lagos airspace temporarily shut over MMIA terminal inferno. That's on page 3 of The Guardian this morning. Another story says, Executive Order 9 enforces existing constitutional provisions, says federal government. Peace Committee warrior vote buying violence in Ekiti polls. That's on page 5 of The Guardian this morning. And the major story there tells us that election campaign spending to stress test CBN's Naira inflation grip. It also has a bold story there which tells us that the Electoral Act 2026 made substantial revisions to Nigeria's campaign finance framework, sections 89 Section 91 and Section 92, as well as Section 93 and 94, collectively govern INEC's power to limit contributions to political parties, candidates' spending limits, prohibition on political party ownership of foreign funds, and party expenditure reporting. Amnesty demands end to killings, accountability as death toll rises. Futility of building $1 trillion GDP to hostile economy. That is an editorial story on The Guardian this morning. Okpebholo Lords Tinubu's executive order says it will aid fiscal sovereignty. 40% lack access to indigenous language education globally. That story is on page 5 of The Guardian this morning. U.S. Treasury official in Abuja as FG sources Baker over ransom payments. Sit at home, Soludo shuts another markets in Inewi. And also another story on The Guardian this morning. Enugu faces 150 million naira mandatory advert permit for 2026-2027 elections. Those are some of the stories that are making wave on The Guardian newspaper this morning. So Felicia, let's talk about the major story on The Guardian this morning. You know, election campaign spending to stress test CBN's Naira inflation grip. What do you think about this? You know, as the election approaches, the 2027 general election.
Well, in terms of inflation, you know, I was just talking about the Naira to dollar exchange rates a while ago. In terms of election spending and how it will affect CBN's measures in terms of trying to curb inflation, trying to ensure that the Naira stays stable, well, if it is properly done, if in terms of disbursement, if the cash flow is well managed, because the issue that CBN always complain about is that there is too much cash flow in the economy, that there's too much cash. So that was why they introduced the cashless policy. So if that is properly contained, whereby there will not be too much cash flow, it will not affect CBN. But
Okay.
if it's not properly managed, that is where it will affect CBN. Because whereby you see one person withdrawing millions for election campaigns, we know how we've seen it time and time again in the news, how money is shared during these campaigns. So at the end of the day, it will actually affect CBN's measures to curb inflation, because the more money you have out there, the higher the price of goods will be. That's just the law of the market.
You know, politicians in this part of our world, they are fond of bogus spending, you know, especially in period of elections. You see dollar, in fact, you see dollar flying. So how do you think this will actually affect the nation's economy, you know?
Well, like I said before, it all boils down to measures being put in place. If measures are put in place to say, okay, in terms of, what's it called? In terms of election spending, I believe that there are budgets for each, there are restricted budgets for each political party to use. So if you exceed that budget, then you should be held accountable. Where did you get so amount of money to spend on election campaign, when this was the budget we approved for you? So INEC has to work hand in hand with CBN as well as with other security agents. And the onion still boils down on the politicians. Yes, because in as much as INEC, CBN would do their parts, politicians just have to know that, okay, yes, we know we are spending for campaign, but it's more about what you want to deliver, not about buying people's votes.
And now talking about Amnesty International raising concerns, you know, on the killings, the death toll that has continued to rise over the years in the country. You know, what does this say about the security architecture of our nation?
We know that our security architecture in Nigeria currently is in a very weak state. If we look at the newspaper, there is no day you open the newspaper that you don't see one killing or the other. Yesterday, some persons were killed in the northern states. Another time you see it's Kwara. Another time you see Benue. Like, the news of killings on a daily basis is really sickening. Is increasing by the day. I know that U.S. troops have been deployed to Nigeria to help train the military in terms of tackling terrorism and all, but it's still not enough.
Where are we getting it wrong, and what's the way forward? Just briefly.
Well, as a citizen, I cannot actually say that, okay, this is what the military has to do. Why? Because I don't have that expertise in terms of military intelligence.
Yes.
But what I can say is that whatever they're doing, they have to add more efforts, because we are not seeing results. And as individuals, we only measure whatever you are doing by results we see. You cannot tell me that, okay, US have come, they're training, there has been money disbursed for security votes, and I'm not seeing results. I won't believe you. That's what the ordinary Nigerian out there will say. I won't believe you. I will just say, okay, the budget is on paper, because I'm not seeing what I'm seeing on a daily basis is still insecurity. What we are witnessing is still kidnappings in the south. So, yes. So when these measures are put in place, let the people see results.
Exactly. So we expect stakeholders, key players to put hands on deck and forestall the insecurity that is bedeviling the nation. So let's see what Vanguard is saying this morning. And on the front page of Vanguard, the first story there says, why Monday markets are not picking up in Southeast. Traders say say traders as Soludo shuts Nnewi market for 1 week. Wiki cancels 485 Abuja land titles after failed verification. El-Rufai files 1 billion naira suits against ICPC orders over invasion of residents. And the major story there tells us that behind bars for years, 53,790 held in prisons without trial. The story has several riders, and the first one there tells us that how 53,790 inmates languish in punitive cells for years without convictions. 2 out of the 3 inmates are waiting trial. Lagos, Ogun, Kano, Enugu prisons lead with 15,133. Bayelsa, Benue, Kogi behind with 1,363. Another rider there also tells us that 30 offenses account for 85% of awaiting trial cases. Police, Justice Ministries, Judiciary shall blame Lagos, AG, NHRC, RULAAC, PRAW, WA, PFN others were asked as police mom. Another story, Tinubu vows to establish state police to curb insecurity. 19 more Nigerians face deportation from US as list grows to 113. Also on the Vanguard this morning, MMIA fire, 14 trapped persons rescued, building to undergo integrity check, says the FAAN, that's the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. And another story there tells us that Commissioning in Edo States. That's the commissioning of some equipment by the state governments, and which were handed over to local governments, the 18 local governments areas in the states. You can see there, Minister of the LCT, Yensom Wike, flanked by Governor Mondo Okpebholo, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Blessing Agbebaku there, also Oshomole, the senator representing Edo North Senatorial Districts, and we can see other personalities there. The deputy governor is also there in the picture. So those are some of the stories that are making wave on the Vanguard this morning. You can get a copy for yourself, and you take a look at them holistically. So let's see what Vanguard is talking about, Felicia Udage. Now, imagine the number of inmates, 53,790 held in prison, awaiting trial. What does it tell us about our justice system in the country? You know, some of these inmates, some of them, they said they have been tried for petty cases.
You know, that was the right there, and another one
They are held in prison, pardon, for petty cases.
That caught my attention. Petty cases, and these petty cases could be as little as, okay, they stole maybe goods in the market. It could be as little as a person stealing chicken. Yes, it could be as little as maybe a person caught stealing anything, or other cases as well. So, but the part that also caught my attention is the blame game. Who is to blame? Police are keeping quiet. Then, on another hand, we are saying, okay, the judiciary is at fault. On another hand, we are saying, okay, it's the security personnel, which is they are not filing these cases in court. So imagine a person is arrested for stealing chicken, for instance.
Imagine.
And he's kept in prison. Ordinarily, by law, he's supposed to be charged to court.
Exactly.
But that is not done. So what happens is that this person keeps languishing in prison. He does not know his fate. They are unable to determine if he is guilty or if he's not guilty. Then another aspect of it is the issue of cases that keep dragging. We see cases that last for years. When I say years, a case can last for like 10 years.
It's
and
really
you're wondering,
worrisome.
Why is our judiciary slow in terms of dispensing justice? Why? Because these are issues that have been raised over and over again, not just even cases of theft, but even election-related matters. In terms of dispensing justice, you see cases going over months, and they are adjourning. We'll sit again by so month. That month will come, they will adjourn again. Like, when do we, or what modalities do we need to put in place to ensure that the judiciary system is fast-tracked, whereby cases do not have to drag and people do not have to stay in prison
I think
for long before their case is decided on? That really needs to be addressed by the judiciary.
Exactly. I think there is need for stakeholders to really put hands on deck and think about, you know, the slow response in terms of justice delivery in the country. It's really worrisome. You know, we can't continue to have this systemic failure. It calls for concerns, and there is really need for stakeholders to put an end to this. All right, so another story there, it tells us that the growing list of Nigerians that are facing deportation in the U.S. You know, doesn't this raise concern on migration and the safety lapses?
In terms of migration, by migration you mean Jackpa.
Yes.
For the ordinary Nigerian.
Yes.
The problem with Jackpa, or the issue, is that the economy is failing, and especially the youth. I'll be more practical now. The youth feel that, okay, we need to look for greener pastures elsewhere. That is why people Jackpa. It is not for any other reason. we need to put structures in place whereby our economy will be conducive for people to thrive. So this boils down on government. This also boils down on institutions. We actually need to put measures in place to stop, to reduce the rate of jackpot. That way, we don't have issues of, oh, you are being deported from another country.
But why is this drive? You know, some of these ban are occasioned by, you know, illegality.
Well, illegality, yes, illegality is part of it.
And overstay in visa, abuse of visa.
They are all part of it. But at this point, we'll have to end the newspaper review for now. Coming up, yes.
We should?
Yes, we should. Okay. We have to, because looking at the time.
All right. That's where we round it off on the newspaper review segments of the program. Don't square away. Stay tuned when we return the discussion segments of the program.
You know, by this time, these people are not here. Is it supposed to be today? That's my special day. Which kind of wahala be this now? Where the people where you call for camera now? See people don't sit down, they wait. I never see cameraman by this time. Make me tire you, I beg. You don't know, so you supposed. The person where you call.
They tell me say that they say they're liable. I'm saying Papilo, call.
I beg, leave me. Which kind of calm down be that? If now you go calm down.
See time. Party don't almost start. Today na my girl birthday. Those people cameraman, I never see that. They would call the night, no they pick. Not be laughing matter.
My brother. See, we tell you that they say, if you want to use cameraman, call cameraman where they reliable. Use cameraman where you don't see work when they do, because what you see, they're supposed to believe. Call cameraman where get good equipment to work for you, so that if you they watch your party tomorrow, you're not going to regret the money where you spend for the party. Now make me they introduce to you that they say, call VOS television. If not be VOS, my brother, it not be like VOS. You know them, my mother burial. VOS don't be 6 o'clock till the end of the burial. From morning till night, they there with me. They are reliable, they are trusted. If not be VOS television, it not be like VOS television. As we still there, so now time still there. It not be like VOS.
You know, by this time, these people are not here. Is it supposed to be today? That's my special day. Which kind of wahala be this now? Where the people where you call for camera now? See people don't sit down, they wait. I never see cameraman by this time. Make me tire you, I beg. You don't know, so you supposed. The person where you call.
They tell me say that they say they're liable. I'm saying Papilo, call.
I beg, leave me. Which kind of calm down be that? If now you go calm down.
See time. Party don't almost start. Today na my girl birthday. Those people cameraman, I never see that. They would call the night, no they pick. Not be laughing matter.
My brother. See, we tell you that they say, if you want to use cameraman, call cameraman where they reliable. Use cameraman where you don't see work when they do, because what you see, they're supposed to believe. Call cameraman where get good equipment to work for you, so that if you they watch your party tomorrow, you're not going to regret the money where you spend for the party. Now make me they introduce to you that they say, call VOS television. If not be VOS, my brother, it not be like VOS. You know them, my mother burial. VOS don't be 6 o'clock till the end of the burial. From morning till night, they there with me. They are reliable, they are trusted. If not be VOS television, it not be like VOS television. As we still there, so now time still there.
All right, welcome back. It is still Dawn on VOSTV Niger, and this is the discussion segment of the show. I am Felicia Udeji. So we'll be taking a look at yesterday's commissioning. In Edo State yesterday, it was, will I call it a ceremony? Well, permit me to call it that. As Governor Monday Okpebholo, flanked by the FCT Minister Yesom Wike, commissioned tractors and other construction equipment in Edo State yesterday. According to him, he described it as an initiative aimed at boosting grassroots development and, of course, in terms of agricultural food drive. He described it as part of his efforts to advance the SHINE agenda. So, many persons commend the governor for this act, saying that this will go a long way to help development in terms of the grassroots, the local government, that local government do not have to rely on the state government alone. But others are raising critical questions as to how this equipment will be used by the local government chairman. What are the maintenance modalities put in place? What are the modalities put in place to ensure that this local government chairman do not use it for personal gains, as some suggested they could rent it out? Well, these issues and others is what we'll be addressing on the show this morning. And joining me to do justice to this issue is Mr. Shedrack Udubai.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. Good morning, my viewers across the world.
Welcome, Comrade Shedrack.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right, so let me first of all ask, what's your opinion concerning the commissioning?
I've expressed my position online, and then even before when the poster came out, I was a bit very hesitant. I asked, they said about 54 construction equipment. Yeah. And then that means that every local government, if you divide by 18, we get 3. That means they are getting 1 payloader, 1 truck, and 1 road grader. So first of all, I looked at it. Because see, one thing, people feel Shedrack, you always criticize government, you don't like them, you hate Okpebholo, you hate his project. It's not so. I criticize government because I understand how government ought to work. I understand the modalities, how democracy ought to function on paper and on the books. It is a local government ought to have some level of autonomy. Is it a gift? Is Okpebholo buying truck and dashing it to the local government? For crying out loud, he has been a governor for over 14 months. And all these 14 months, I dare say, there has not been allocation of local government resources. After you carry somebody's fund for 14 months, and you've not given the resources to do as he pleases, because that is an independent government that has its own governor, he has his own chairman, a vice chairman, and his own legislative arm of body to superintend and oversee, to scrutinize the affairs of government. They pass budget, and they pass budget and no money is being allocated. Then after 14 months of withholding allocation, you come out and you give them 1 traitor, 1 payloader, 1 truck, and 1 this, and you say they should be celebrating that a do is shiny. For me, it's irritating. It's annoying. I don't understand why people go through this route and they want us to. What do I want to celebrate in 1 grader? In the whole of Oredo local government.
So are you saying that this grader will not help to develop the local government?
See, listen to me. If Okpebholo had put in place a construction company, a Edo State road construction company, and he buys like 10 or 15 machines, and he says 15 machines will not be used in open rural roads, let the local government submit all the roads they want us to open. From a central point, put man and material on ground, put a system of organizing it to say, okay, as we are here now, we now have a new MD, a new commissioner, we have gotten some experts, we got some 1 or 2 expatriates who will help us manage our entire roads. That is to say, that anytime you see any bad roads in Edo State, within 60 days, the road will be given attention. Where it is bad, I was driving here, first circular road by Egu. I've been bad for over 6 months. It's like that. We have numerous bad spots in GRA. If it's not tying the road, a major patch, like we have in FEMA, Federal Ministry of Works Maintenance, it could say, okay, let us put a road maintenance structure on ground that will quickly be tying roads. Okay, if we want to expire to local government, now opening new roads, let local government submit forests and bushes that they want us to open. And now, how can you buy 54 heavy machines? Do you know the cost of maintenance? Are they really in need of these things? Yeah, local government ought to be an independent government that's supposed to think for itself. The state government is now using their funds to think for them. Is that how democracy was designed? So because this thing will lead to waste. 54. Because Okpebholo enjoys procurement so much. And I keep saying it every single time. The man has spent too much money buying vehicles and heavy machines. The first time he came to office, he bought 100 horses. Today, nobody is giving us appraisal to say, oh, the new Edo line. Of course, you can enter the vehicle and be happy. But the price, what's the comparative advantage that the new Edo line is giving to us that we're not getting from God is Good, we're not getting from Big Joe, we're not getting from Ameosa? And how much is government raking in by way of investment? You have put so much billions in buying 100 buses. How many of these are in good shape? And how much is it making for the state? If you say it's going to be a business, if you say it's going to be an intervention for Edo people to ensure that the people do not suffer so much when they are traveling outside Edo State, what exactly is the direct interest to show change? You cannot throw billions into an investment without fact and value, without results, without returns on investment. Is irritating. They do it every single time. He bought 100 vehicles. That was not enough. He bought 60 vehicles, 60 Hilos vehicles for security agencies. Then I begin to wonder, is it that the Hilos vehicles were given to the kidnappers or were given to head of security? Because as money he bought those vehicles, insecurity increased. It was so bad that he had to be putting soldier inside the new Edo line. So when you are traveling, one soldier one will stay behind. Instead of them to load 80 passengers, they will load 70. They put one policeman, hoping that when they get to the they catch the number, the man will begin to fire. And so, while other people who do not have the capacity to carry soldier were left on their own discretion.
So, in your opinion, you are not against the procurement,
no,
but that modalities are not being put in place.
It's the intent behind it. It's the purpose, the knowledge. See, when people run government, you do not run government. For example, now I give. For example, I bring a houseboy to my house. The guy is poorly dressed. I say, oh, houseboy, thank you. You are coming to help me to do domestic chores. Help me watch the grass. This guy does not look so good. He's not properly dressed. And I give him 250,000. I say, boy, go to the shop, go to the market and get some nice clothes for yourself so that you can appear where you can look good. And guess what? The guy goes to the market and buys one Prada shoe of 150,000. You buy one designer shirt and pants of another 100,000. And he buys only one shoe and one shirt for the whole 250,000. When he comes home and he dresses with that shoe and shirt, I will say, oh, you look good, you are doing well. But eventually, when we start going out of event, see, there's only that one cloth, the boy will not be here, it will not look like a uniform. Is that a irresponsible investment? It's not just about buying or putting money into it. It's about getting value. There are purposes and intent for doing things. You have scale of preference. Government does not just spend money. Government prioritize. And you have to spend money to give the greatest good to the greatest number. You put money to create impact. Nigeria today, those states, what exactly is the impact of those tractors? Okay, when they open new roads, what will not be the... that is just to grade. Of course, the grader may be fine. But you can't say 18 graders for the 18 local governments. Of course, we could have a grading every single time. When it comes to rainy season now, and rainy season now almost like 6 months or thereabout, the graders will be packed somewhere. That's capital be tied down. And you're not a construction company. They will not begin to hire a different operator. You now have to get 18 operators. How many roads will they be? And when there's rainy season like 6 months, no job, the operator, the loan will see pay the person's salary. See, there are ramifications to these policies that is not properly thought out. I believe strongly. And funny enough, this local government have some other needs. They didn't ask them, what do you need? The need of Okpebholo Ego, because special local government is here for the need of Onwa, even from Ovia Northeast. How many bush does Okpebholo have now? They say they go and buy a tractor, a bulldozer, and they want to have it statutorily. So they'll be bulldozing road every single day.
Okay, now that you've mentioned that every local government has its specific needs, and that the government is supposed to work with them to know their needs, how do you suggest the government of Okpebholo can work with local government? The
government is not supposed to leave the local government alone. There's local government autonomy as propounded by the APC, led by Okpebholo's father, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as he says. So I don't understand why the man has refused to give a local government autonomy. The duly elected local government chairman who were brought into office to serve, were dubiously taken out of sight and suspended. Even as of today, many of those duly elected local government chairmen have gotten court injunction to be restated, but they refused to restate them. They took some councillors who jumped in the capital of the PDP and used them to the local government chairman. As if that was not enough, they now conducted one dubious election that had 2 restraining orders, preventing the Edo State Electoral Independent Office from carrying out elections. And imagine somebody that was elected as a councillor on Saturday, on Monday he resumes office as a chairman. I speak to you today. In all 18 local government in this state, there is no duly elected vice chairman. All vice chairmen were appointed. Is either it's the leader's girlfriend, or the leader's son, or the leader's houseboy. They bring them for the kitchen and they make him vice chairman. In such a system, how do you not expect democracy to thrive? When the people organically did not bring people into office, how do you not give them resources to expand and they will not use it for the good of the people? But the system is faulty from the start. Okpebholo should give the local government the autonomy, the independence they deserve to work. Should give them the leverage to work. You can't withhold their funds. After withholding their funds for 14 months, you now go and sit down as if you are Father Christmas. You buy a tractor and you share for them. Everything has to revolve around him. Because we have some wiki, all that. The money they use in bringing wiki every single time is irritating. The last time they brought him for commissioning of the new Edo line, he came out twice. He came the first time they cancelled it. He traveled back. They paid. This guy comes in private jet. You know how much it is to get a private jet to fly to Edo State? The money spent in commissioning the new Edo line when wiki came that first time is money that this new Edo line cannot work in 4 years as profit.
Okay, now let's still come back to local government autonomy. A lot of persons will argue that the reason why this administration has taken autonomy from the local government is because the local government, when they were given autonomy, did not do well. They didn't manage their resources well. So they need checks and balances. The
argument is neither here nor there. It's like the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming out to tell me that Okpebholo is not leading when he wants to not take charge. Of course, even if I had to a larger extent believe the man is not doing very well, will I not support Bola Ahmed Tinubu to not take charge of Edo State? There's no, see, the rules of the game is clearly spelled out. Democracy is clearly conscripted in the Nigerian constitution, and it's being propounded by this APC-led administration. Why is it coming that the only thing that Nigerians ought to benefit from this Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which can point to his this local government autonomy, but yet the governor we have in Edo State has deliberately prevented that from taking place. So there's nothing Edo people is benefiting from Bola Ahmed Tinubu regime, and not the reforms he has propounded. The ones he brought to cut our throat, use taxation to multiple taxation to destroy us, we are suffering those ones. But the small benefit that is there for us to have access to, there's no access to it, and so you can't even complain to local government chairman because the money does not get to them. He has nothing to do. They just receive Bola, they pay salaries for statutory work. After they pay salaries, they sit down, they fold their hands, and they wait for next allocation to come to pay the next salaries. And they are all about receiving instruction to go and do 2020 by poster for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Everywhere you go now, as if Bola Ahmed Tinubu is contesting to be governor of Edo State. His posters are more than practically everywhere. It's irritating. People they should draw a line between governance and political campaign. And I strongly believe that this local government have been completely destroyed beyond recognition. People may say, oh, they perform under God in Obaseki. But to let just say they had their resources, they made decisions. And you could see local government engaging the project. They were coming out to commission, this is what we are doing, this is what we are doing. Today, the local government are not queuing behind Okpebholo. After Okpebholo, I bought tractor for them. They will now wait to give me Okpebholo and now say, I want to build the houses for all of them. They will now go and build us again. All these things is being pedestrian. It's petty, it's irritating. Edo State government should allow the local government function as an independent autonomous body and not wanting to always baby feed them or spoon feed them. That's not democracy was organized. Is Bola Ahmed Tinubu telling him exactly how to spend Edo State resources? Is he not thinking for himself? Why is he not believing and allowing those people to think for themselves too? And yet the APC, because it's not a party. I can't call APC a party. It's like a covu. They all gather together, and whenever one person says that it trickles down. People don't think. No wonder the state chairman said APC is no break, no gear, no sense. They truly don't have sense in the party.
Now let's come back to the issue of opposition in terms of politics, because you spoke about APC as a party. In a recent report, it was stated by INEC that just 5 political parties are ready for the election, of which APC, PDP, Labour Party, the NNP, and SD Party were mentioned. ADC was not present in the list, and other key parties that we know. So how do you see opposition gearing up in terms of taking power from the ruling party come 2027?
It's a bit surprising. You know, every time I read about the role of this current administration in destroying the opposition, I just laugh. You know, most times it tends to outmatch themselves. They think that they know what they would do to destroy the voices of Nigerians as being expressed by the opposition politics. And I just keep laughing because that's what they did to the PDP and the Labour Party. They practically scuttled the platform to ensure that they are not able to come together to harmonize, to resolve their internal disputes.
But some persons will argue that it's not another man who will spoil your house, that it's more of internal party crisis.
When people start funding a faction of the party, we all see what's happening. There's no doubt you can't deny, close your eye to the fact that yes, on Wiki is an APC minister serving in a Bola Ahmed Tinubu government, working for the renewed up agenda, and yet still claims to be a PDP man. How can you be a PDP and yet you are supporting the presidential candidate from another political party? And yet the man said he has been suspended, he refused to be suspended. A national secretary that resigned from being national secretary, went to run for governorship election, came out and lost, returned back to Abuja, said he never, he's still the secretary and he was never left. And he never left, he never resigned. And put all of these things together, you see that they have been heavily funded, they are using the judiciary as a weapon against the political. All the cases that go to court, they give them one form of a trivial, watery injunction. They get judgment, there's no reflection of justice. See, I say even in Labour Party, why is Obino in Labour Party anymore? Because the leadership of Julius Aburi has been totally compromised. The party now works for Yes on Weekend and the APC. Everything they are struggling.
What facts do you have to back that?
As I'm saying it now, what facts do you now have to say no, it is not them? Is Yes on Weekend not a member? Okay, you know, is he a member of APC or is he a member of PDP? From your opinion, are Nigerians ignorant of the facts? See, yeah, these things they keep doing. I don't understand why I could just choose to close my eyes to obvious facts because I want to be politically correct. Is this how we want to grow Nigeria? Is that how we want to solve security? Is that how to reassure the democracy we want to give to our children? A democracy that is inherently dysfunctional, that is not working properly, that cannot serve the people, and is serving some leaders and the masters somewhere who are considered themselves as principalities within the political structure. This is what we hope for Nigeria. And yet, we so for me, whether you like it or not, I keep seeing the hands of even the INEC has turned themselves into a pawn in the table of the presidency. They are being used to come out with make frivolous and petty statements.
So are you saying that INEC will not be independent come 2027?
INEC is only independent by name. in practice and in procedures, they are never independent. Why can they be independent when the funding is coming from the president? And to a large extent, even as the funding comes from the president, the appointment of all the state resident electoral commissioners is done by the president, who becomes the INEC chairman, is spoken by the president, all the police, the DSS, all the see, until we even solve the issue of INEC independence, Nigeria appears to be skewed towards one party, because whether you like it or not, whoever appoints you, whoever pays the pepper determines the tune. What I foresee is that INEC will eventually go there, no matter the elections or the vote, they will announce Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But because we have put some machineries in place, we will resist them overwhelmingly, either through outright resistance or through the judicial process. And whether I like it or not, nobody is too strong to be kicked out of office. We saw that happen in 2015.
All right. I would like to read some of the comments we have here on our YouTube live. Thank you so much for joining us. MC Papilo, we see you. Jubri Adilia, thank you for joining us. Frederick Justice. Frederick Justice says, thank you, VOSTV, for adding your voice to the issues in Nigeria. And he also says, Nigerian government should put their interests apart and govern Nigerian very well. It says, if I check our news 5 years ago and today, nothing changed in the country. The same problem, the same, but different actors. Joe Collins TV, thank you for joining us. MC Papilo says, the fact is nothing changed. Now, looking at what Frederick says, that the same problem but different actors. I'd like us to take a look at this issue of El-Rufai in the news. We know that he has been arraigned by the EFCC and currently in custody of ICPC. And while he was in detention, it was alleged that ICPC went to his home in Abuja to search the place. Now, El-Rufai has filed a 1 billion naira suit against the ICPC for invasion of his residence without his permission. Some are saying that he has every right to file this case against them, that why would they put him in custody and then go to his house to search? While others are saying that it's actually a violation of his fundamental human rights and that he should file the case. What do you have to say about
it? Was in this country where Adam Saliu Shomole came out in public domain to say that when you join APC, your sins are forgiven. El-Rufai is a major stakeholder in the APC before he pulled out to join the ADC. But there was nothing of such. He completed his tenure 8 years as governor. Yes, he did not call him once for any pedestrian interrogation. But because he's now a paramount member of the ADC and is working as seriously hard to ensure that he kicks out the cluelessness of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all the APC from Aso Rock, they are jittery. All of a sudden, they are now mobilizing the ISCC, the DSS, the SCPC. They are not even they are going to his house to shop for evidence. That is to say, they don't have proof that the man had committed any crime.
No,
because the man is seen.
In terms of proof, the case he's currently being tried for is that he admitted on national television to tapping the National Security Advisor's phone, which according to law is a cyber crime, a breach of security which could affect the nation. So in that regard, people are saying that for him to have done that and even have the audacity to come to national television to admit to such a crime, then he should be punished.
Then he should not. Why God does not have concern searching his house with the crime he admitted to? He said he had gotten serious information that the National Security Advisor had given instruction for his arrest, and he heard it. Yes, he tapped to the court. That's what the government does every single time. The government tapping into their own cause. What is their own basis to? They should take him to court. He should be tried and not detained. I don't understand. Is it not a bailable offense? Tapping into the call of the NSA is a bailable offense. It's not murder. It's not arson. So whether you like it or not, the man is a bailable offense. The man will leave the custody and they will charge him to court and will appear in court to prove himself, prove his innocence. So that you like it, all of these things they are doing is all for political theatrics. We see bigger thieves, bigger criminals, people who committed monstrous crimes, people who are threatening the sovereignty of Nigerian nation state, people who brand weapons, who kidnap children, 300, 400, 250, every single now and then. They are being given money, they are being empowered, they are being embraced, they are being kissed on the forehead. Nigeria says, we love you, continue to do your good work. We know one day one of you become president. None of this is happening. Or is what the crime El-Rufai committed, if it proven to be a crime, is it what the Nigerian bodies are doing? And the support that Sheikh Gumi is giving to the criminals and bodies that are wrecking Nigeria to the ground. So let us all leave these things. You know, they keep focusing on pedestrianism. They focus on triviality. Everything they do is viewed through the lens of politics. They want to ensure that the opposition is being reduced, is being cornered, and there's no dissenting voice. They want to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. And anybody who, to a large extent, is not speaking with the same voice or is not in the same page with them, they want to hound you using the tools of state security or name it whatsoever, or the criminal. How many people has actually convicted in recent times? All the criminal cases we have, how many of them have they taken so seriously? But because it's politically motivated, their morals are high, and they are willing and ready to do everything. Go to the moon to look for evidence just to nail the man. In as much as I won't say the man's actions are good, but there's a legal procedure. That's why we're in a democracy. There's a procedure for investigating and punishing a man who taps the phone of a national security advisor. Let the law take its place. Why are they jumping in from AFCC to SCPC and to DSS? Why are they detaining the man unlawfully? Why are they going to his house to search his properties? So Nigerians should know these things for what they are. And like I keep saying, they may have all the resources, they may have all the billions in the world. They may want to bully opposition to submission. But, you know, evil does not stand for a long while. After sooner or later, after 2031, 2030, here about 31, Bola Ahmed Tinubu relegated to the annals of political history, reduced and cornered. We see Olusegun Obasanjo, while he left office in 2007, he appeared to be the most powerful man. Nobody ever thought he's going to be weak and free. Today, he can't even support a governorship candidate in his own state, let alone the senator of his own federal his own senatorial district. Was he not once powerful and active? Look at President Buhari. Is he not there today? Has he not been laid to rest? Everything about him relegated to history. So Bola Ahmed thinks that it's going to be there forever. It's going to conscript Nigeria. It's going to destroy the soul and conscience of Nigerian people. I dare say he will be shocked, because time in itself will humble every man.
All right. Oh, so that is for the case of El-Rufai. Now let's revert back to the commissioning of the 54 construction equipment and the tractors. In your opinion, you said that it is supposed, the funds are supposed to be handed to the local government chairman.
It's not supposed. Constitutionally, they own their resources, yes. Okay.
So now that the commissioning has been done and constitution is not being followed, but yes, this equipment have been purchased and they have been handed over. How do you think, what modalities do you think that the government should put in place to ensure that these equipment are well utilized by the local government chairman?
The Edo State government does not have whether the constitutional backing or the moral ground to go and superintend over the affairs of the local government. There's no legislative, they are not the legislature. It is the legislative arm of the local government that will superintend over how the equipment have been deployed. But the Okpebholo has no rights. It's like the vehicles he bought and shared for heads of security agencies. He can't go back there to ask them how many vehicles how many kidnappers have this vehicle to arrest. He can't ask. Even if the commissioner of police takes the vehicle and parks it in his village.
Why?
After that is being done, this is the first time we are seeing vehicles being donated to heads of security agencies. When you go and meet the commissioner of police, when they deploy a new commissioner of police to Edo State, he will tell you that we have shortage of vehicles. They are always singing that same word, vehicles. And if we give them 100 vehicles, because the security does not, the state of insecurity does not improve. Because when you give them the vehicles, they'll take it to their house. It's a retirement benefit. They'll keep one in the one pack one in their house. And when they leave office, you can't ask them because it's a gift. It was really given to them to do as they please.
But
this one too also is also a gift.
According to the governor, this is not a gift. He said that he wants to ensure that this local government chairman use this to construct roads. He categorically stated that. The
vehicles Okpebholo bought for the local government chairman when he came into office, one Chinese vehicle, Jeep, armored one vehicle, SUV. He gifted all of them away. The 5 that was suspended in those south, they took the vehicles home. And those vehicles are registered in their name. I don't understand why they should prove me wrong. Okpebholo bought vehicles for local government chairmen about a couple of months after I became governor. These local government chairmen, some of them have been sacked and suspended and be taken out of office. They took that vehicle home and they are using it and they are enjoying life. The guy who is being brought back will buy another one for himself. Why they make it look as though, because they are the same party. If the person had decamped, they would have taken the vehicle for him. And even as I speak to you today, it has been alleged that Okpebholo is also buying vehicles for his commissioner and special advisor. And those vehicles, government vehicles, are registered in the names of those aides of government. Whether commissioner and special advisors go and do an investigation. See, when we are making it look as though when there is corruption within the system, there is waste, there is malfeasance, People are spending money recklessly and fecklessly, and yet you buy something and give to another person. You want to now use another person to practice. What exactly is going on here?
So are you saying that even if
What
this
I'm
local
saying is that-
government chairman failed to use these tractors
Okay,
to grade the roads, that nothing can be done?
How many roads? Grading of roads only takes place
cannot
during
be
dry
held
season.
accountable.
Listen to me. Grading of road takes place during dry season.
Okay.
And you don't grade road every single day. You outline the roads. For cost effectiveness, what we usually do is to get a tractor, you pay, and we spend, 7 hours, is 500,000 thereabout. You provide fuel, and they go, they grade. They rest for a couple of days. The next day again, they grade. That's what that thing is a grade. That is not a bulldozer. It's only a bulldozer that can work dry season and rainy season. And sometimes it's also very careful because that one likely they say it cannot sink. But you cannot grade a road during rainy season because the road will become more deplorable. What they give them is another truck, right? And a payload that used to pack sand and put in the truck, and the truck will likely go to a place where they need to sand fill. It's not used for tying roads. People should not be there. There's no asphalt laying machine there. That thing is simply used for moving rumbles and sand to a place where they want to grade, and the grader will grade. And it's simple as that. And they can't do it every single day. So whether you like it or not, if the local government or largest says we can't allow this machine to sit and go to waste, they can put it for rent. At least it will not be a source of revenue for the local government. It is better than letting the machine sit idle because Okpebholo says they should not rent it out. On what basis is this? When the man understands that this, when he rent it out to make more money for the local government, and that money cannot be used judiciously for increasing the welfare of the people.
So how do they ensure that this money comes back to the local government and not to the pockets of the chairman?
How can you trust the chairman that is I can't trust them. I don't care. They are the ones running the government. The structures are weak. Ordinarily, the councillors ought to ensure that there is a frugality within the system and money is being put into where money was said to what money was actually meant for. And to large extent, they ought to have come up with a budget to know how much they can rake in by way of internal revenue and how much they will get in for federal allocations. But all those things mean nothing to them, whereby when the allocations do not get to them. So I do not see, I can't be giving recommendation solution to people who I know do not have the capacity to act or function by the virtue or the capacity of their office. So for me, whether you like it or not, I just see this thing as a show. Those states, as far as I can say, good governance is a holiday. Whatever we can take out of this government, we'll just take it out. And when Okpebholo is done, we'll go back and count our losses and look for somebody that has the requisite capacity to govern Edo State and move Edo State forward by way of intellectual capacity, by way of exposure, by way of competence, and turn our life and destiny around. Because what we are having today is a brigand of shame. Edo State is not a laughing stock. And everything must revolve around the governor. Governor say, party supreme. And it's a bit irritating. It's not just that. I can't count most of the laudable projects that's happening in Edo State. What we talk about is the flower. And I ask a simple question. Is that Rama Park before the flower came? Was it more rowdy than Ring Road? Ring Road is a roundabout. And is there any flower there? Why is it not construction flower in Ring Road? See, you give to the people what they need, not what you think they need. That's why it's democracy for the people, by the people, of the people. Yet this time, what we are seeing is democracy by Okpebholo, for Okpebholo, with Okpebholo, through Okpebholo's intent and capacity. They advise, they say what they think we need, and Okpebholo goes ahead and implements it. How can you listen to me? Let me land on this thought. Okay. Rama Park has a flat roundabout, statue roundabout, that you just go and shrink it and perhaps expand the lanes to about 4 or 5 lanes, so that for easy traffic. That road branches to only 4 places. People coming from Bobai, people going to Adua, people go to Agbo Park, and a small break to Lucky Way. Is it more routing than 5 junction? But yet, Bobasky was able to arrange 5 junction, streamline it, and today traffic is easy there. But yes, because there's a market beside the Bobai, when this market, people take their wares from the bush, from the market, bring it to the center of the road, and you have gridlocks everywhere. Yeah, but the problem, because he genuinely wants to rake in resources, he's looking for a white elephant project to cooperate with resources for those states on his first day of resumption of office, without looking at the paper, without looking at budget, money rushes there to declare flyover, and he's doing another one that's not needed in Adesua.
It's really been an amazing
our
time
money recklessly.
Having you on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts
God bless
as
you.
regards the commissioning of Edo equipment, tractors, and of course construction equipment for the 18 local government area of Edo State. We actually look forward to see how this local government chairman will utilize this equipment for the benefit of their community. It is still done on VOSTV, and we take a quick break now. Coming up next is the business segment of our show. Do stay tuned.
Good morning. You are welcome to the business segment of our morning show. I am Happiness Peter. Now let's check out the latest happening in the business world. The Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has slowed Naira appreciation at the official window with the mopping of $190 million from the local currency market. The Nigeria has appreciated speedily at the official window, but the exchanging rate has slowed down for the last 3 trading sessions. Some analysts warned that the Naira's successful performance would force foreign investors to exit the fixed income market. Last week, CBN purchased $189.80 million to absorb excess supply and moderate Naira gains. According to an investment firm, Trust Bank Financial Group Limited, the currency to strengthen across both segments, appreciating in the official windows to 1,346 to $1. In another development, the managing director, Oman Automotive Company, Chinedu, said Nigeria spent about $4.5 billion importing vehicles into the country annually. Delivering a paper titled Auto Policy Framework, Chinedu said the country has lots of investment opportunities that has not been harnessed. According to him, China has become the world's biggest exporters to automobile, exporting about 30 million vehicles to other parts of the world in 2024, a success he attributed to over 70 years of consistency in their industrial policy. He also said that China has also taken over leadership in the production of electric vehicles in the world with about $231 billion and controlling over 80% of the market. He said Nigeria should draw influence from Morocco that produces about 700,000 vehicles annually, pointing out that the majority of the items needed for manufacturing vehicles can be sold within the country. In the meantime, Nigeria capital market has hit 125 trillion in the market capitalization. This revelation was made by the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform, Tao, linking the increase to ongoing fiscal reform aimed at strengthening investors' confidence. According to him, the impact of this reform is already visible on the trading floor of the Nigeria Exchange Group. Now to foreign scene. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has projected a massive financial windfall for the 2026 World Cup, stating that the tournament is expected to generate more than $11 billion in revenue for FIFA, while delivering an estimated $30 billion for the host country. Speaking in an interview with pressmen, Infantino disclosed that FIFA has already received over 1 billion ticket requests for 77 out of the 104 matches scheduled across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Infantino added the ticket requested has come from over 200 countries. That is the size of our business this morning. I am Happiness Peter. This morning show continues.
All right, thank you so much, Happiness Peter. I love the fact that the Naira is strengthening. Yeah, so if you have anything to buy right now, you better go and buy it though before it will go up again. Okay, so I want to say a very big thank you to all who joined us on the show. On our YouTube platform, MC Papilo, Jabril, Ifadelia, Sunrise TV, Frederick Justice, My Heart Solution, Passion for Jesus, Stories Behind Hymns, Ibrahim Obazix, Passion for Jesus. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube this morning. It's been an amazing time, viewers. See you again, same time tomorrow. Bye.